So let me ask you a question. What year is 2025? It's the year of the snake, a time associated with dramatic changes and transformation. And it's also Xi Jinping's own zodiac year. He was born in the year of snake. In Chinese tradition, your zodiac year, known as 本命年, is considered highly perilous. It is often marked with personal trials and tribulations. So for Xi Jinping, that belief is playing out in real time. Not only his grip on power weakened dramatically, but now he faces the very real prospect of stepping down. His loyalists, they're not just sidelined, they're being purged. And by purged, I don't mean just politically. In some cases, it's literal. I'm talking about bloody physical elimination. So a few days ago, I told you about the death of General He Hongjun, who had just been promoted last July to deputy chief, overseeing the PLA's political and personnel operations. He reportedly took his own life while under investigation. And now, in another bombshell, a reliable source has revealed that the vice chairman He Weidong, another General He, has also died, and supposedly by suicide. In fact, sources said that he died before General He Hongjun. Now, two sources have revealed that he had died. The first one appeared around April 20th. At the time, people brushed it off and didn't pay attention. And yesterday, political commentator Cai Shengkun, who has been very reliable in breaking these rumors, revealed that Vice Chairman He Weidong committed suicide. He was detained shortly after the two sessions in March and was first interrogated at the 301 military hospital. Then he was transferred to Baoding for interrogation. Now, Mr. Tsai learned by mid-May that all the guards assigned to watch over Vice Chairman He had returned to Beijing. Even the chef who was responsible for his meals had been sent back. So Mr. Tsai thought that it was really strange that these people were dismissed. So he tried to understand why. Yesterday, he got confirmation that they were released because Vice Chairman He died from suicide on May 2nd. And similar to the other General He died in the 301 military hospital. Now, when we hear Vice Chairman He's death from two separate sources, we cannot ignore it. But in their cases, people do not believe that they committed suicide because they have no means to take their own life. Like I said before, the CCP does everything they can to prevent the officials from taking their life while being interrogated. The walls are padded and there's no sharp objects in the room, no strings. So people generally believe that the two generals were executed. And the reason? For assisting Xi Jinping in a failed coup to regain power. So if you remember my program on April 27th, it was a live stream. I reviewed Xi Jinping's faction having attempted to take his power back, but their efforts failed. And so as a result, on April 17th, the Central Military Commission issued a classified notice to all officers ranked Major General and above, including retired ones, about the crime of Xi Jinping's two top military leaders, Miao Hua and He Weidong. And the authorities used rare damning language to describe their crime, which says that they were atrocious traitors disguised as loyalists, and they committed unpardonable crimes. Right? It indicates that their crime was unforgiven. So that makes people believe that the vice chairman He was executed. The fact that the first rumor appeared on April 20th indicates that he was executed right before the above-mentioned classified notice was issued. They didn't leak it until now because it would be too shocking. They leaked the death of the other general, He Hongjun, just to test water. So both generals were executed because they were all involved in the coup attempt against Zhang Youxia and the party elders, trying to help Xi Jinping take back his authority, but they failed miserably. And the purge didn't stop there. More heads are rolling. Yesterday, multiple sources revealed that 5 more senior generals have been arrested. They are General Huang Ming, commander of the Northern Theater Command, Lieutenant General Cao Qingfeng, Deputy Chief of Staff of the CMC Joint Staff Department, Lieutenant General Yang Chen, Political Commissar of the Xinjiang Military District, Zhong Shaojun, former director of the CMC's General Office, and Zhong's replacement, current director of the CMC's General Office, Fang Yongxiang. Now, of the 5 officers, Fang Yongxiang's role is particularly sensitive. As the director of the CMC's general office, he is effectively Xi Jinping's secretary in the military. He's the military counterpart to Cai Qi, right? Xi Jinping's executive assistant taking care of party affairs. And he is also a top enforcer and eyes and ears within the armed forces. In addition, other scores of generals and admirals who are missing or rumored to have been arrested. I just want to remind you who they are. This is He Weidong, Miao Hua, and then Lin Xiangyang, commander of the Eastern Theater Command, responsible for Taiwan operations. Wang Houbing, former director chief of staff of the PLA Navy. Wang Xiubing, former commander of the Southern Theater Command. And then Wang Haijiang, commander of the Western Theater Command. Qin Shutong, former political commissar of the PLA Army. Qin Shengxiang, former chief of the general office of the CMC, and also former political commissar of the Navy, PLA Navy. Yuan Huazhi, political commissar of the PLA Navy. Zhao Keshi, who is a retired general, who was the former head of the CMC Logistics Support Department. He was rumored to have been arrested. Han Weiguo, former commander of the PLA Army, and later deputy chair of the Foreign Affairs Committee of the National People's Congress. And then, last but not least, the commander of the People's Armed Police Force, Wang Chunning. Sadly, it's not an overstatement to say that we may never see some of these PLA leaders again. That brings us to the next topic tonight. Why am I saying Xi Jinping's own life is under threat? Now, there has been political whispers or the talk of a so-called mysterious 60-day plan circulating in Beijing's top political circles. According to the rumor, Xi Jinping has just 60 days left to either step down or be taken out. And by taken out, it's not a political exile. It means physical elimination. Former Premier Li Keqiang died exactly 2 months after he visited the Mogao Caves in Gansu following his retirement. It was an event that reportedly angered Xi Jinping due to the former premier's lingering popularity with the public. 2 months later, Li was found dead under suspicious circumstances while swimming in Shanghai. That 2 months gap has taken on an eerie, almost cursed quality in Zhongnanhai. Now, people are whispering that Xi Jinping might meet the same fate within 60 days. They even give a date, July 18th. They say it could be the day Xi Jinping steps down or the day someone makes their move. So it sounds crazy, right? I mean, I didn't believe it when I first heard this, but we need to make sense out of this. So now I want to talk about why suddenly we're seeing this bloody purging. Because Mao Zedong killed many of his rivals and subordinates. But since the Deng Xiaoping's time, top CCP leaders established an unspoken rule, that is, no killing each other. And yet suddenly, deaths are piling up, especially among top PLA leaders. Why? It comes down to raw power struggle. It was said that after a failed coup attempt to regain his power, Xi Jinping reportedly still refused to step down. His condition? He must choose his own successor. But that wasn't acceptable to Zhang Youxia and the party elders. So what can they do? There's a Chinese expression, kill the chicken to scare the monkey, meaning punishing a lower target to intimidate a bigger one. Xi's power base is larger than Zhang Youxia's or the party elders, right? So for Zhang Youxia and the party elders to pressure Xi, they must first go after his followers. And in Chinese, it's called 杀一儆百, kill one to warn 100. So the 60-day rumor, in my opinion, serves that purpose. Here's the purpose. It serves a political purpose. If everyone's talking about Xi Jinping having only 6 days left to step down or die an unnatural death, just imagine the psychological pressure. The rumor itself becomes a weapon of intimidation. That's why, rumors are so powerful in CCP politics. We cannot ignore them. Um, as for what might actually happen next, based on everything I have read, I think there are four possible scenarios. First is he partially steps down, staying on as a symbolic figure by holding positions like the President of China, which is a ceremonial title, while his rivals take over real power. So that's the first scenario. And the second scenario is he fully steps down quietly and without retaliation, possibly citing health issues. And the third is he's forced out in disgrace, and he will be blamed for China's many crises, and he will be stripped of protection. The last but not least, he dies suddenly in office, perhaps from a health incident, just like Li Keqiang, if he refuses to go. Now, you might be thinking, well, what about Xi Jinping's security detail? I mean, doesn't he have bodyguards that protect him? Isn't that his safety net? Well, that's managed by Cai Qi, once considered Xi Jinping's most loyal enforcer, but Cai has started to distance himself. So on May 17th, he was visiting Tangshan to oversee ideological work, and he gave a speech. And he made no mention of Xi Jinping thought or any of the usual loyal slogans. And also, very strangely, during Xi Jinping's May 19th to 20th trip to Henan, Cai was nowhere to be seen. And that's very unusual because he always traveled with Xi Jinping, but not anymore. So this signals not just Xi Jinping's weakening grip, but also Cai Qi's strategic distancing. It could be his own choice, or it could be that he's forced to do that. And there's another unusual sign. During Xi Jinping's recent tour in Henan, his security presence was drastically reduced. It was said that it's about half the size of his previous trips. And around the same time, his state council issued a new regulation banning police escorts, roadblocks, lockdowns, and public disturbances during top leaders' local visits. In short, this regulation strips away the kind of elaborate security theater that Xi Jinping relies on. So many people say that this is a direct effort to weaken Xi Jinping's personal protection. And after a decade of crushing rivals and consolidating power, Xi Jinping now finds himself surrounded by enemies everywhere, and some of them are no longer afraid to strike. So now you know what I mean when I say CCP's factional politics is a life and death struggle.